All right, good morning and welcome to the discussion segment of Daybreak Nigeria. My name is Tunji Saliu, and on this segment we'll be talking about the frequent kidnappings in Irele, axis of Ajoni LCDA, that's Local Council Development Area. And we have in the studio the chairman of the LCDA, Prince Michael Ogungbemi. Prince, you're welcome to Daybreak Nigeria.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Saliu. Happy to be in your studio once more again this morning.
Yes, in the last 1 week, the area been in a very, very tense mood following the kidnapping of 4 people. And yesterday there was a breakthrough, and some of the kidnappers were apprehended and the captives are, set free. That's why the chairman is here to talk on the situation. Yes, Mr. Chairman, from the day the kidnapping took place up to yesterday, could you narrate what actually, transpired?
Okay, thank you so much. It was indeed, it came out like a panic scene because the principal of Irele Community High School, Mr. Oladele, and the other teachers, Mr. Olajide, and also a staff of the primary health care at the community health center, also Mrs. Jaudela. Also, we were just leaving the school where they walked down to moving en route Okiako, down back to Ipawa, to Ayedu. Surprisingly, they were waylaid and whisked away to the forest by these criminals. And since then, our people were so disturbed, and we already had a joint security task force in that environment, and the Ajoni Local Security Network. They've been on surveillance all this while. So by the time we converge, we've been on surveillance, we've been on patrol of those entire forests and the borders. And luckily, yesterday we converged. There was a convergence of a joint security task force of the military, the police, and the Operation Iborak. Like I said, the Iborak are yes. Thank you. That's the Ajoni Local Security Network. Combined together. I went on forest combing. The forest, and they deploy intelligence, to know where they are. They also deploy tactics. They also deploy. It was a combatant force. It was a reinforcement. And we were able to dislodge them at their base because they met them right at their base, the center of the attack, where those people were. And when they were dislodged, 2 were apprehended. 1 sustained injury, and they are right now with the police formation for investigation or interrogation and possible prosecution. And luckily, those 3 other abductors were set free. They were set free. There was no harm. Yeah.
Those are our abductors.
Those 3, they were 4.
Okay, there were 4 initially.
Initially, the principal escaped.
Okay. While in captivity.
Of course, he escaped. He escaped over the night, and he has regained back to his family. He has, he's undergoing medical treatment right away. And the other 3 were also released yesterday without being hurt. It was a very successful operation that we had yesterday at that forest leading to Okiako, Road, Yemero, Gede Forest. And today, our people of Ajoni LCDA can live in peace, because if they are not apprehended, I don't think we were able to sleep with our 2 eyes closed. As a chief security officer of our local government, we can't just relax and we thought everything is well, because these people are dangerous people. They are trying to take the peace away from our people, and we have to deploy every tactics to make sure it was so successful. And I want to give thanks and appreciation to the tactics, to the the gallant, I will call them the gallant warriors, let me put it that way, of Major Kevin Kalu. And in fact, the operation was led by the DPO, Ekiti local government, Mr. Umar Kanjalo, and the other team of the Operation Iborak, and they did very well. In fact, the award being celebrated, given an award. The award went to one. In fact, it was great. I was happy. I was elated that none of our people sustained any casualty. I mean, we went in successfully and they came back.
Okay, now, yes, before this very event, that the latest kidnapping, there was one that led to the death of a civil defense officer some time ago, and some of the kidnappers, were apprehended. Yes, what's happening to that?
Yes, we have had, consecutive successive story about, combating these criminals. Like the other time I had told you when I came here for an interview, I said Ajoni LCDA organized what we call a security network. I mean, that we pull local security from the Old People's Congress, we pull security from the Vigilante Group of Nigeria, and we also pull local security from the village and local hunters, localizing security in the hands of our community, the KBCs as collaborators, and we have also the head of this security organization helping us to combat crimes and criminalities in its borders.
Okay.
So it was also due to the patrol, surveillance, and intelligence effort that we were able to fish out other people that perpetrated crimes the other time. And whatever then these men of this underworld, these criminals, once they are apprehended, the police takes over. So I will allow the police are on investigation, the police are on the prosecutive process. So I will allow the police formation to keep it. Once we only apprehend, hand it over them to the police formation, so they do their job on investigation, on prosecution, and because military tactics or internal security are in the hands of those that we are trained to do it. Those guys we place on those forests and borders, they are just local security people. They are not conventional security agencies. So most times we allow the police, the army to do their work of investigation and prosecution. So, I mean, we will not relent, because as of now we have declared, between now to the end of December, we have declared Operation Comb, Ajoni, Forest and Borders till the end of this year.
Okay, now, yes, let me ask you this. That place, that area is notorious for, crimes, criminalities in recent time. What do you think is responsible for this?
Yeah, like I said,
and it's not that we're profiling, particular, tribe. The identities of those arrested yesterday, are they members of the communities? Are they from that communities?
When intelligences are being worked upon, at the point where these intelligence reports are coming on board, we cannot divulge every tactics, every information on the media. We can only tell you what as a preamble or a recap, or to paraphrase or surface information. What I do is that those guys are mobile criminals. They are not stationed. But because of the porousness of those borders, because of the two major states that we border with in Ajoni LCDA, makes our boundaries to be a bit porous.
That's Kogi.
Yeah, we border with Kogi State. When you move down to Koyo, Irele to Koyo, you're entering Kogi Forest. When we move out from Ekiti, going to Ogbe, you are also moving out to other parts of Kogi Forest. When you come out to the other eastern side, Yemero, moving out Yemero to Koro, you're also entering Kogi Forest. When you also move from Yemero to Eruku boundary, you are moving outwards to Kogi Forest boundary. When you move from Yemero to Omoga, to Ayegule, to Ilemesho, to Obole, you are going to Kwara border. When you move out from Yemero, moving down to Gede. So there is a large, thick, virgin forest that has actually allowed these bandits, criminalities around those borders. And that is why we said those borders need to be fortified by the local security that understood the terrain of these forests, because they have been going on hunting expedition. We have farmers among them. We have this, they are domiciled in those rural communities, and that's why they give intelligences. They help patrol, they help with surveillance, and this time around we have had the police and the military help to combat joint tax military force that help us to achieve success and to apprehend those criminals. So what we do right away is that we went in yesterday that we were going on Operation Flush, okay. and we achieved success because they are criminals. they are disturbing the peace of our land. We can't just, stay in our offices or probably sleep in the confinement of our rooms and says, well, the territory are safe, not until what they are apprehended. So since we have gotten hold of these people, I think the police are going on with investigative process on them. And I'm sure they will be prosecuted as others were also in their custody for further prosecutive processes. So we will not relent because we understood the process of these borders, and we only want to employ the state government to give us attention over there so that we can begin to increase the mobilization drive, to also begin to raise manpower, to also begin to get more funding so we can able to fortify those 17 flashpoint routes that we have identified within the forests and borders of Ajoni communities. And those 17 routes that we have identified, we have route commanders in each of these routes. I mean, purely local security personnel were deployed in those routes, and they help with those security assignments. And today, I want to also appreciate the gallant effort of these great men that did this good job to make sure that peace restored within the coexistence of Ajoni people. So that, when those borders are secured, when those borders are fully fortified, those in the hinterland will live in peace. But when those borders begin porous, who knows when they will just weeks. Anybody have access, even in your domain, even in your restroom, even in your place of convenience, they will come in there. So we will not allow them to have peace. We are embarking on Operation Flush yesterday, and we did it successfully well. And we did not record any casualty, but we have a success story because those three, we are still in the den of the kidnappers. We are set free peacefully without having any harm. I mean, they were not hurt because the operation went successfully well. And we continue with Operation Flush, the Ajoni forests and borders, until we have total peace, tranquility, and serenity in that land.
Okay, since you've been able to establish that the criminals, are transborder ones, coming from different areas, penetrating your forests and, carrying out their heinous crimes, what moves have you been taking, in ensuring that, the local councils, in other states that you border with, are doing the same thing so that, when these criminals don't have access through their end to penetrate Ekiti, then we'll have peace.
Yeah, actually, the next LCDA that borders with Ajoni is close by is the Ifesowapo LCDA that has Ishon, Ilemesho, Ilafo, and the rest there. I think we have had a concerted effort already, and if you have watched over this listing over about 2-3 months, you will see that criminality has actually minimized in that environment because we've been working in synergy. We have worked in synergy with the chairman of that council, Mr. Mr. Kayode Samuel Akirili. That's the chairman of that LCD. Of course, they've also fortified the strength of their forests and also empowered the local security over there. So, this is moving down to Ore, where we have the Ishoko LCDA, and we are also extending to Moba with Honorable Adioye Boku, and we're also getting to Ero, where we have the chairman of that environment, Mr. Buga over there. So we are Alebioshu, Alebioshu. So we are working together to make sure that northern Gulf that we thought that is a bit porous will be fortified. But Ajoni is the entrance, and that's why we are reinforcing. We are reinforcing the fortification of those porous borders in Ajoni. And luckily, we have identified those routes already, those flashpoints that we have there. We tag them the red zones of operations. The red zones where criminalities are perpetrated. The red zones where the parts of these evil men that has come to this of our land, the piece of our land, have been perpetrated. So, and we have placed those strongest hands, viable, strong people, that will, honest men, valiant men, that will help us patrol this area, give us, work on surveillance and monitor what's happening on those borders and report on intelligence to the LCDA chairman. And they also work with the KBSs. So that make that Ajoni LCDA a point where those borders as strong men fortifying the those flashpoints. But what we are saying is that the manpower needs to be strengthened.
Okay.
Manpower needs to be strengthened. And we needed to call upon the state government to make sure attention is being placed on those porous borders in Ajoni, so we can strengthen those of our men that we kept there, because we needed to increase most of these other equipment. I mean, local security cannot carry guns because they were not, empowered to do that. But we have trained them on armed combat. We have trained them on intelligence gathering, and they are strong men that they have also done well. Like we made arrests in the Yemeno forest in the past. We've made arrests on the Irele forest in the past. And we also made an arrest in this recent Operation Flush, that we were able to apprehend those criminals there and release successfully, without being hurt, those 3 victims that are in the den of the kidnappers yesterday. And they are they've taken them to the hospitals, to go to the hospitals for treatment, for medical attention, so that when we save lives and they become more healthier, that is when they can be very useful to us. And we don't want to record any death of all these victims. And I'm sure Ajoni Forest would be an atama for these evil men.
Okay, you're talking about this forest, talking about the size, so large. And I want you to understand that not a single portion of this forest is free without a owner. Where you caught those guys yesterday, probably, is owned by a family. And if you want to know that, if somebody just goes to the forest and start clearing a parcel of land there, you understand, and start erecting structures, within 24 hours, the owners will come. So that tells you that, the owners of these lands, those who farm in the environment, they cannot claim ignorance. They see all of these people without probably paying attention to them and all of that. So how are you sensitizing your community people, across the LCDA?
Yeah, like you said,
on intelligence.
Intelligence, yeah.
You see people, strange movements, strange people, on how to quickly notify the appropriate people.
Yeah, those are the work that we saddle. Those were the part of the security assignment that we saddle this Operation Ebola to help us gather. I told you that they were stationed there to help patrol those borders. They were also there to provide surveillance and also provide security, intelligences, gathering for us to work upon. And how would we be able to get the point of the attack, the center of the operation, if those intelligences were not coming on board? So we work on intelligences, and we will not relent on doing that. One of those things we have done, we have conducted our community security stakeholders meeting in Ajoni LCDA since we have resumed. We understood that those terrain are porous, and we understood that we have influx of strangers, entering those area in the name of going for farmland, in the name of doing charcoal business and the rest. So we have been conducting regular security stakeholders meeting in that LCDA to make sure we sensitize our community stakeholders, the KBSs, the Babai Beomon, that's the community associations, the Iyalojas, the youth organizations, the drivers union, the Okada unions, every relevant stakeholders that would help us gather information and help us reduce the level of insurgencies that may be what perpetrated or arose in any of our community farmlands. Because those living in the center of the community may not actually understood the full level, the high level of people living at every point of those community border towns, because there are boundaries. Like from Yemeno, we're moving down to Irele. We have some other boundaries that are actually so far away from the center of the town. So some can just move in there and without the community getting to know about them. So, but we understood that these criminals work in syndicates. They work with syndicates. So we will apprehend every syndicate involved in these levels of criminalities, either under the disguise that he gave them land, or under the disguise that they were there to maybe probably raise some cattle. We have some cattle rustlers in those environments. They host no cattle, but they go in, attack those people with cattle. The normal nomadic men that lives there, that rear cattle and feed and graze on that land, they're not criminals. But we have other criminals that were just coming there, harmed. They were harmed. They will, even those that are having cows settled down in the ranch, will them, stole their cow and also resell it up there. So we are working on them. They are syndicate. We also have some other agents of the community that may also work with them as a syndicate. We will apprehend all of them. Just give us the timing. We have established that local security network in that environment, and I'm sure we will be able to identify those syndicate group working there. Even despite they are mobile, we have come forests. I mean, we have conducted over 10 forest combing since we have gotten to Ajoni LCDA. We have come forest in Yemero, forest to borders. We have come forest at Itakaji, down to the border. We have come forest at Okiaku to Ajaru. We have come forest from Okiaku to Ogbe. We have come forest from Irele to Boyo. We have come forest down to Ipao. So we knew exactly the terrain of this environment, and we are combing the forest regularly. And that forest combing also help us to develop a joint security task force conducted by the military at any point, the police, and also the Operation Eborak. Like I said, Operation Eborak are the pool of the local security network that we have trained and enhanced to help us gather information, work on surveillance, and also patrol the borders of Ajoni LCDA. And today, we are not yet through with that, but I think we have a successful operation led by the DPO of the government, Mr. Umaru Kanjalo, and the military formation as led by Major Kabi.
Okay, thank you. Prince Michael Ogungbemi is the chairman of Ajoni LCDA, and we want to thank you for your time on Daybreak Nigeria and congratulate you on the successful, rescue operation and arrest as well of the criminals. Yes, Daybreak Nigeria continues after this. Time out. Please stay tuned.
Daybreak Nigeria from EKTV in the heartbeat of the Southwest. We break your day on EKTV Daybreak Nigeria.